Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk, your Star Wars podcast for us superfans.
And those of us who are forced to listen to them.
Today is someday, and someday we're talking about a tree cave.
About a tree cave?
That's right, Thomas, you ready?
I'm ready.
It's that time. Drink up.
Drink up.
Hello there, Pop Pop.
Hello there, Pop Pop.
Someone's got a frog in their throat.
It's all good. It's allergies.
It's allergies. Well, welcome to Pink Milk, everyone. I am your host, Brian. With me, as always, is my better half and your better host, Thomas.
Hello.
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 Well, Tom and I did something very exciting today.
We got our second vaccination.
We are vaccinated.
Don't be jelly.
Not of this peanut butter.
I don't know that one would really want to refer to themselves as peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Unless they had a song like that.
Thank you, RuPaul, for peanut butter.
Seriously?
I can
she has
twerk
a song called Peanut Butter?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a really lot of twerking going on, which you're listening right now.
Twerk.
It's not the live stream, but I was twerking. So just picture it in your head.
I think the twerk owes everything to Miley Cyrus. I never heard of a twerk before until that girl did the twerking with what's his name?
No.
Can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The Masked Singer guy. Okay, there was always twerking, but she was white and therefore got more attention.
I'm sorry. I did not know that. I apologize. Clearly, it was something I should have known.
Well, I don't know if you should know, but, you know.
But should I have known prior to that moment in time? My apologies. I did not know what twerking was.
Again, I don't know if you need to apologize, but whatever.
Sounds like an apology was just well inserted there.
We may not have known what twerking was before, but now that we have our son Michael, who's constantly shaking his badonkadonk all over the place, I think we're very aware of what twerking is now.
I'm not even sure if that's technically twerking, but
Well,
it's a 7-year-old shaking his bottom.
It's something. Oh, well, we are vaccinated. That feels really good. It felt great to get that done
And we
today.
didn't do any twerking to get it done.
No twerking involved. Some arm flexing.
There was some working, but no twerking.
Well, I will say, though, the nurse giving me my shot, she was playing some TLC.
Oh, okay.
Not that they twerked, but...
Mine was very, very nice. She gave me a whole bunch of directions. Very thorough gal. She's my kind of gal.
Tom seems to bring out the thoroughness in lots of people.
It's good to be thorough.
Oh, well, any big news to share this week, Thomas?
Other than...
Then COVID-19 vaccination.
And that I put a listing on this past weekend. I got 22 offers on it.
Yeah, that was my Sunday evening, folks. My husband locked away in an office.
Reviewing 22 offers. I'm not complaining. I'm just more in shock than anything else.
I will complain for the next 45 days until that check comes on and rains some dollar bills on me. Then I'm going to be very happy. Hopeful. I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
As will I.
Oh, well, if you're listening to this, I hope you enjoy us in the past. If you're listening to this for the first time, welcome. We'd like to have you here. While you're here, if you can head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, that'd be great. We've gone up, and we're so close to 300 followers on YouTube. We're at 295. So go follow us on YouTube.
Please.
We look we're all very cute.
We're always very cute.
And Tom's not here, so we get after dark. We get real dirty and real steamy.
I have to go to sleep. He puts me to bed.
So I don't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally I'll turn it on. I peer into what's going on. And I'm like, oh, better turn that off again.
So normally that's called a live stream, right? And there's like the chat room is how those things normally work. Well, this week I've termed us a our chat room is now the steam room.
Oh, the steam room.
So it's Pink Milk After Dark. Join us in the steam room.
Huh.
We get sweaty. Lots of towels involved.
Huh.
Okay, well, back to the Star Wars. Let's leave the steam room.
Oh, is that what we're here for? It's Star Wars.
We are.
Okay.
Well, today is not going to be the easiest conversation for me to have, but there's an important conversation that should be had. If you are not aware, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So we are going to be talking about sexual assault. So if this is something that triggers you, or something that is not easy for you to listen to, or you can't listen to, don't listen to this episode.
But we'll see you next week.
So, we said at the top of the show, we talked about Luke Skywalker and the tree cave. I have mentioned this scene a lot of times over this past year and a half plus 2 years of podcasting and how important it was. And I guess this is the time to talk
share
about
as to why it is.
So do you remember the scene, Tom, in The Empire Strikes Back?
Mm-hmm. I do.
You want to tell our listeners what happens, though most of them probably already know?
Well, this is going to be a casual fan at best description of it, but there was Luke Skywalker going into a tree, and I only remember that Darth Vader showed up and he chopped his head off. So that's all I remember.
Underneath the mask was Luke Skywalker's face.
Okay, I do remember that too.
So Luke goes in to bring his weapons, and Yoda's like, hey, you don't need those. The only thing that will come with you, or that you'll see in there, is whatever you bring with you.
Okay.
So I have said before several times, I was adopted by my father. And I always related to Luke that way. Because I too grew up in the desert in the Southwest and didn't know who my biological dad was. And you kind of carry those questions with you all the time. I was always aware that my dad was not my bio dad, but there was also a cloud of shame and stigma attached to it, and it was not something to talk about. Which, when you're little, probably just makes you want to talk about it even more.
I can imagine.
You know, we believe very much that our children have the right to ask questions, and we share with them, and there is no shame or stigma in them questioning where they came from in this house.
And we also believe that we tell them the truth, so they are very well aware that there is a past, but the past really isn't, decisions or things that they've had anything to do with. So we always answer the questions honestly.
Yep, their past will not determine their future.
No.
It's interesting because I don't know where you came up with that line of thinking. I wish I always had it. Like, why do you as a parent want our children to be able to talk?
I always want them to be able to talk because I don't want them to ever, number one, go through life and have a question that isn't answered, and number two, ever feel as if though whatever came before them, their past, is shameful, because it's not shameful. It has nothing to do with them. It was not based on any decisions they ever made. So,
but I think, it's important, and you're a good dad for feeling that way.
Well, and I also want to say that we always, when we communicate with them, we never pass judgment on their past as well, ever.
Nope,
because that is the past and had nothing to do with us. So
not always easy to not pass judgment, but
no, not at all.
I feel like you and I had these conversations of even to ourselves, not to pass judgment, not in front of them, but like in life in general. And it's not always easy.
And sometimes we fail.
Yep.
But more often than not, that failing, weighs heavy on us. And that's what helps us not do it ever again.
Yep. So when I was growing up and not knowing where it came from, I think that cloud always, to me, felt like the dark side. And that tree had, as Yoda told me, there was a lot of dark side energy surrounding it. And I understood that. And I felt like looking backwards and trying to question those things, there's always a cloud. One thing that has been around my whole life is looking in the mirror and not knowing where I come from. It's one thing that is breaks my heart when I think of my kids, because I know those boys will look in the mirror and not know where they came from. So we've tried to get as many pictures as we can through Facebook stalking, all those things.
I mean, absolutely. We have gone out of our way to find strands of connections in each one of their lives that if they do one day want to walk
Yep.
through a door, here it is. I don't know what it'll look like, but there's
Yep.
a strand of connection there.
Which, I'm very proud of you, because that was just something I felt like I could look at the door, but I was not allowed to walk to it. And it was very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try my best to not be too emotional, but I can't make any promises. So there was this question, and in my mind, I knew my mother was married once before, and I just created the story that was my dad. That was my bio dad, was whoever this previous husband was. As I would get older, in certain situations in movies or on the news or newspaper headlines would come up, I figured out that wasn't the case. And to this day, so I don't even know how to talk about the story. So I always felt that there was this darkness surrounding me forever, and that was always the source of some sort of bad memories. And having a mother that you love dearly look back on you and know that there's something bad inside of you is really, really hard. And that's something that I can relate to with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru a lot in A New Hope, is they both know where Luke came from. They don't want to talk about it. Owen's angry about it. Beru's sympathetic to it. I would have preferred one of those situations growing up, but I got nothing. You've met my family. My family's fine. But there is a level of do not talk about anything. It just, if you don't address it, it doesn't exist. And there's a silence in my family that is not something I'm super proud of. And I think a lot of it comes down to this, possibly. So I knew there was something that had happened that wasn't great. But as I got older, I put it together that my mother was raped. And I am the product of that act. To this day, we've never talked about it. I know after college, I tried to bring it up because it's really, really hard. It is something that has never gone away, that I don't think ever will go away, because to know that you're the constant reminder of said thing is a really heavy weight to bear.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it's like for my mother. So when I was in my mid-20s, I tried to talk about it because, like a lot of us in our mid-20s, and I was dealing with being gay and all of these things, and I tried to talk about it because there was a lot of shame that I held. One, for being gay, two, for this. And my response was, it wasn't my business. And I've never been allowed to talk about it ever since.
I mean, that's a hard one to digest, for sure.
I mean, I try to be respectful. I know. I mean, she's never had help. She's never had counseling. Like, she doesn't talk about it at all. And I want to be respectful, but for her to tell me that it's not my business is just like, it was this immediate. My relationship with my mother has never been the same ever since, because I spent 25 years trying to come up with the courage to ask the question. And then I did, and I was immediately shut down. And this fear that I've had in my entire life meant nothing. And to know that you come from something like that someone could do that to someone else, and that's in you, and that's a part of you, is like this. I don't have any other way to talk about it other than it's like this dirty itch that won't go away. It's invisible, but you know it's there, and it's heavy. So it's kind of defined my whole life. When I was a little kid, that tree cave scene meant a lot to me because I looked up to Luke anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And when he cuts the head off of Darth Vader and sees his face there, to me, it was always Luke senses that darkness in him too.
I can understand that.
And I always related to that because there is a tremendous amount of darkness in me because of that situation. Now, if it's in there, I don't know, that's up for debate, but
Well, it doesn't appear like it's in there from the outside, but I'm not inside there.
but that's how it feels. A lot of time, it just feels like it's the nothing from the never-ending story is another thing that kind of it follows you to rob you of your innocence all the time. That's always kind of sat there. So I had this situation my whole life that just defined me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was hard. And then when I was 19, I was raped myself. And it was something that I never spoke about. I was working in a restaurant, and it was one of the owners of a restaurant, and I had a boyfriend at the time that I was living with, and that relationship wasn't going anywhere, and it was not a very good relationship either. But I was out with them one night after work, and everyone was drinking, and I had this really bad feeling of I knew what might happen. But I was taught my whole life to avoid that fear, to not talk about that fear, and just to take that idea and that feeling. It felt the same, and you just put it away. And so I just kept on going, and they got me drunk. And then I woke up on a couch, and it was happening. And then I stayed the night because I didn't know what else to do. And my boyfriend at the time was very mad at me and accused me of cheating on him and all of these things, but I couldn't ever say what happened. And so that ate at me for a very, very long time. I stayed at that job. I hated that boss. And finally, I saw one of the other owners dealing drugs out of the office. And I just left. I walked out. So I couldn't stand up for myself, but I couldn't be around drugs either. And then I never talked about it. You know, I'm a guy. And this obviously happens to guys, but no one ever talks about it. I never had a single friend who's ever mentioned any of those things. I grew up in the house where you don't talk about it, so I just bottled it up and set it there for years. And then when I was 25, after college, it happened again. This time in my house by an ex-boyfriend. And that one was much more physical, and I was not drunk, not any of those things, but I was told to take it, and it was my duty, and this person was a very mentally abusive person anyways. And that one was much scarier. And it was around that time, then again, then obviously I kicked him out and never really spoke to him much again after that. But that tree cave scene stood there again, looking at me. And now rape has defined every part of my being. It happened to me, it came from it. And it's really hard. And as a Graham, my old last name, I don't talk about it. I was taught not to talk about it. As a man in our country, in this society, you don't talk about it. It's a sign of weakness. And we've had lots of discussions already about being gay men and talking about feeling less than and being vulnerable because it's a sign of weakness and it makes you a weak little gay thing. So I didn't talk about it. And then I finally got to the point where I did because it was just eating me up. It was eating me up. I had graduated college and I was going to go into the police academy, and I was all of these things and I know I look back now, and part of why I joined the police academy was to prove that I could still be a man. I could be gay. I could have had that happen to me, and I could still be like masculine and strong, which is just stupid. And I figured that out, luckily, along the way. And it wasn't for me. And then I called my mother, and my parents were already separated by that point. She didn't live anywhere near me, but she just screamed at me that it was not my business. And of course, I couldn't tell her that it happened to me. But it was there, and I never really talked about it. I don't even think I talked about it with you when we first got together. But we went through training for our kids, and I've been pretty open about how I had to start allowing myself to be more emotional, because I don't want our children to feel the shame that we kind of talked about at the beginning of this. And now here I am talking about it here.
How do you feel about that?
It's not easy, but if guys don't talk about this, and if other children who were born from the same, I've never met someone, I've never seen anything from someone that was born from rape either. And that makes you feel very lonely. It makes me feel just lonely. And like, it's always, I feel like it has been this thing that has kept me from ever really connecting to people until, because it's just not talked about. And I guess I just put my head down and figured my life would get better someday, and thank God I found you, and now I have the kids, and my life did get better. But when we were going through our training, like, I think a lot of it came up again. And it's never really gone away. And like I said, I'm talking about it now because we have to stop the not talking about it. I've seen what it's done to my mother, and for a woman to scream at her 25-year-old child who's clearly still dealing with the repercussions of what happened to her, to tell me it was none of my business, was just so, like I said, we've never been the same, because I understand how hard it is to talk.
So is it the transparency that you're upset about?
I think for her to tell me that, like, it shouldn't affect me. Like, I'm a parent now, and I feel like I look at it differently now than I even did before. I'm like, I understand you've never dealt with this, and this is really hard. But as a parent, you do anything you can to make your child feel better. And there's no way I could look at one of my kids and tell them that they don't matter. I might not know how to figure out and how to help them in some situation in the future, but I certainly wouldn't say, not your business. That's not the way to handle that.
No, I can never see you saying that.
It doesn't matter how hard it is or how. But, I guess later in life, I did try to talk. I've gone to 2 therapists 2 times to try to talk about this. And they don't want to handle it either. I don't know what it's like for anybody else, but it was just like door after door is being shut on my face to not talk about it. I mean, it could have been worse. Things could have been worse. It could have been like I could have been beaten up in the back alley somewhere by who knows, but it doesn't matter. And it's one of those things that I've been able to relate to Star Wars, and I think that moment in that film really spoke to me, and it was one of the ways that I could start dealing with it, because Luke Skywalker figured out how to move on. I have to. It's a part of me, but you have to move forward. I don't know. It's been but I'm very proud of the dad that you are for being able to raise our kids to be able to talk.
I'm very proud of the dad that you are, who is also raising their kids to talk.
I just don't. I don't want my kids to wake up and be 42 years old and carry around this weight still.
What weight? What weight are you talking about?
Like the weight of not ever talking about
Well,
really
I can
horrible
guarantee
things.
that these 3 kids will not have that, so that you don't ever have to worry about, because we're not raising them that way, and we've been truthful and honest with them at every turn. So you don't have to worry about that.
That's good.
It is good.
Yeah. I know this is not exactly what you come to Pink Milk for, but
But it's also the month, and there could be somebody else out there who, maybe there is another person out there who is a child, a child that's come about through rape. Maybe you'll find somebody through this. Maybe they'll know someone through this. So maybe just this conversation could help somebody else. So in the end, no matter what, the conversation's worth having. You're
And
not alone.
I hope. I mean, I know I'm not alone, and like clearly
Right.
there are other people out there. If you're a guy, and we do have a lot of LGBTQ listeners, obviously, and I'm sure this is not an LGBTQ issue either, but for me it is. Don't be 42 and not talk about it. And I wish I could be some really responsible podcaster and say there's a bunch of links in the links below and places to go, but I don't know because I've never sought those in that information out either. Maybe I should, but I haven't. But don't end up like me. Certainly don't end up like my mother, who won't even talk about it to help her own child. Like, that's the part that's so hard as they get older as a parent. How can a parent not want to help their child? I don't care how gut-wrenchingly difficult it would be for me to like talk about something with one of my kids. Like, nothing would stop me.
Well, I just want to be clear for a minute. Your mother is an absolutely wonderful person. So I know that you're not, and I don't want any of our
she
listeners to think that she is anything other, because she truly is a wonderful, wonderful mom and grandma. This issue is a tough one for her. It's one she's never been able to overcome in her life. Anyway, I thought that I would
No,
throw
I
that
mean,
out
you're
there
right,
just
you're
in
right.
case she's listening.
Well, if she is, I'm sure she won't enjoy me talking about this, but
But I will have gotten some brownie points.
yeah, I don't know. I still watch that scene. It still helps me. He comes out of it, and I know he's still Luke Skywalker in the end, and I know I'm still me, and these things are all part of what makes me who I am today. They're not my favorite things to look back on. Maybe this was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I think that this is not about you. I think this is about the month, and maybe sending out a reminder to others who may look on and not really know sometimes that there are other people that walk similar paths that don't talk about the paths,
Yep.
I guess, if that made any sense.
Yep. No, it does. I would have liked to have heard somebody say something somewhere, some point along my way. I'm older now. I'm a dad. So I become a dad of many people. When you become a dad and you get older, you just become a dad.
To kind of bring it back full circle, what we started off saying in the beginning of the conversation, that we say to the boys, the past is the past.
Yep.
And it doesn't define them.
No.
And that was the past for your mom. It doesn't define you, doesn't mean that it's not something that is part of you and that you have to deal with. I'm not minimizing that. I'm just saying that you're not responsible for it, and it didn't define you, because I'm looking at you today and I know it didn't define you. It's a part of you and it's with you every day,
Yep.
but it certainly didn't stop you in life.
Nope.
Nope.
I think it could have. At one point in time, I think it could have. And honestly,
So that's the message then, others, right?
call it silly, call it whatever you want. But that scene in The Empire Strikes Back is what made it not stop me from doing anything. because Luke Skywalker overcame it and became something great and became better.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been very, very inspiring to me. So this will be a short episode, but if anyone's out there listening that this has happened to, please talk to someone. I'm here if you need to talk. I won't have anything to write to say, but I can share my experience and I can listen. If you find a therapist, don't be like me and just let them shut the door on your face and not go look anymore, because that's not super healthy either. But I'm where I'm at with it in life at this point in time. I wish I would have spoken earlier, because I think it would have made certain times of my life possibly easier. These situations, at least for me, just put barriers up and walls up, but I've been pretty open. I don't have a lot of really close relationships in real life, because I think I always just didn't. There's a certain level, a lack of trust in humanity when you've seen those parts of people. And like I said, this has defined my entire life in a lot of ways. And I thank you for what you said. I know it doesn't define me, but it's been a big player in my life on all sides of it.
I do know. I'm pretty fantastic.
So, anyways, go find help. Thank you for listening. I know this is not what you normally come here for. There's usually more laughs and good times, and they will be back, because I have said it many times, but laughing is the cure to anything. Because if you laugh, you can't help but feel happy, at least for a minute. And those minutes turn into hours, and those hours turn into days, and those days turn into years. And you can define who you are and your own happiness. No one can take that from you, and no one can define it for you.
And like my friend Jason says, I'm just here so I won't get fired.
Oh, Jason is the king of the gifts. I think Jason
I'm
speaks
loving
Tom.
him.
Jason speaks Tom very well.
I like it.
But if you're listening, please, and if this has happened to you, or if you are a child of those things, go talk to someone, go find some help, find a community, find something to give yourself a sense of solace that I wish I would have given a younger version of myself. Until then, I guess we will talk to you next week, right?
I'll be here.
Well, I'll talk to you later this week, but Tom and I will both talk to you next week.
And I may make a special guest appearance on Friday night.
Really?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Maybe it's like 50-50, isn't it?
For some people. For you, it's like 90-10.
Well, there's a 10.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening as always.
And drink up.
And drink up. Drink
Up.
up.